If you ask people what they would save from their house if it was burning down, if they knew that their family was safe, most people would say that they would save pictures of their kids. So I'm going to tell you about an online service that's free that is really great for helping you do just that and making your life simpler in lots of other ways. This is going to be mostly about Google Photos and an online service called sync.com. I'm going to start with Google Photos because that's the one that's free and is most related to pictures. It has some really cool features. One is that it has an automatic unlimited photo and video backup from your phone. So if you take pictures and video with your phone and you have it connected to your Gmail account, then it will automatically upload every picture and video that you take to Google Photos and make a backup online for you that you can access from the Google Photos app, from your and from a browser. And it's really cool because it's free and it has some other things that are pretty neat too. It automatically sorts all your pictures by date. So if you hold your cursor over on the right, then it brings up a timeline. And so anywhere you click along this timeline, it'll take you to that point in history of your pictures. And it's pretty fast about being able to seek to that place because it's Google and they have, unbelievable machines as far as computers that can render thumbnails and things much faster than your own computer would. So if you had a folder that had tens of thousands of pictures in it on your computer and you were viewing it just in folder and you open that folder, unless you have some supercomputer, it's going to just grind and grind trying to just show you the picture thumbnails before you can even click on one to view it. So that's one really cool thing about Google Photos is you're leveraging the power of Google servers to serve you up your thumbnails quickly. It also allows you to create albums that you can share using a link. So if you wanted to send a bunch of pictures to your family or for a business purpose or some reason, and you needed to do that, if you wanted to do it by email, you'd have to upload the pictures to the email and you'd reach these maximum file size limitations pretty quickly with pictures and especially with video. But with Google Photos, it's really easy. You can just select a whole group of pictures and then add them to an album. You can create an album easily and name it something. Test. And then you can share that album by creating a link, and you can share that link and send that link in an email. And so it just takes a moment for that link to be generated, and then somebody can, whoever you send that to, can directly download those from the link. And so it doesn't have anything to do with email as far as the file limitation is basically unlimited file size limitation, I should say. You can also search for people, or you can search for places or things. So let's do drill rig, see what comes up. So these are things that I have pictures of drill rigs and things that it thinks are drill rigs. If I search for one of my kids, then it'll come up. It knows I've gone through and identified pictures of Ava, and so if I search for Ava, then it will bring up pictures that have her in it. And so anyway, you get the idea. Google is powerful in that way. It also creates animations and collages and things like that automatically. And you can do some of those things manually too, but it has some pretty cool features that are neat that are easy to do. Let me talk about some of the limitations of Google Photos. One of the big limitations is that if you only have your pictures on Google, well, let me tell you just a bit about how the app works. Basically, if you have your account set up and you're setting it up to back up whatever your all of your pictures and your videos. So I've got it set up to back up pictures and video. This is one of the really cool things about the Google Photos app, is that as you take pictures and video and your phone becomes full with pictures and video, then you have to do something to get those off your phone to make it so that you can take more pictures and video or do other normal things with your phone. And so this is one of the things that's so fantastic about Google Photos, is that it allows you to delete the local copy on your phone and retain the copy online on the Google servers. Now, what this means is that you only have one copy when you do that, and you're trusting Google with your one copy of your pictures. And so this is, I think, the biggest limitation of Google Photos, is that if anything happens with their server, then basically all that is lost. And so if your pictures are valuable to you, then having an alternate plan about how to back those up is important. And that brings me to the second point of this video, and that is to tell you about sync.com. And there's some other services that basically do the same thing, but these are all cloud storage and file synchronization services. There's numerous different choices, but these are some of the ones that I think sync.com is the best option for the money and for the features that it gives you. Basically, it does the same sort of thing that Google Photos does, except it does it with any kind of data virtually. And so let's say that you have on your computer that you've got a folder, and you've got all your files and data in here, whatever you've got, and you would like to be able to, especially with your pictures, have a secondary backup that's not on just on Google. Maybe you have a local copy you want to have a local copy on your computer, and you have another copy in a different data center and another cloud storage somewhere else. And but you also have other needs for possibly you've got a desktop computer at home, and you've got a laptop that you use, and you've got maybe a work computer, you've got a smartphone, and it'll be nice if you had access to all of your files in all these different places, and if they were all updated the same everywhere, so that if you work on a file at home on one computer and then you work on the same file at work later or on your laptop, that the same version of the file is everywhere, and you don't want to have to be copying files onto thumb drives and carrying that around with you and moving it in and out of computers all the time. If all your files just show up, then that's going to be really cool. And that's what sync.com and Dropbox and some of the other choices basically do. And so you can see in this particular folder that there's a bunch of green circles on all these different folders and files, and that some of them have a check mark, most of them do, and then there's some that have like a little head or something, meaning that it's being shared with other people. And so this is a special folder that is basically, it's everything that goes in this folder is copied to the internet through your this utility, the sync.com utility. And it basically is a program that you download from the Sync website, and you install it on your computer, and it works on every kind of computer just about. And whether it's an Apple or a PC or Linux. No, they don't work on Linux, sorry. But it does work on Apple and PC and or Windows. And so anything you put in this folder, it just makes a copy of that online. And then it will also make a copy of those same files and folders on any other computers that you connect to that same account. And it will allow you to do some really cool things. Now, I think the most important things are redundant camera backup, that you can back up all your data. Both of these, Dropbox and Sync.com, do all these really important things. They allow you to synchronize the files between your computer, which I was just talking about. One thing you may not have thought about, but that is super cool between both of these, is that they have something called version history and account rewind. All right, imagine that you have a file, a Word document that you've been working on, maybe a school project or something, and or you have a work project, any kind of thing that you're working on, and you're making changes to it, improving it, whatever, and then some crazy thing happens. It gets deleted accidentally. It gets, some portion of the file gets corrupted. You delete 3 chapters out of a book you're writing accidentally and save it, and so now you don't have those 3 chapters anymore. Any number of things. You got kids get in there and do something that's crazy and just ruins your file. And basically what this version history and account rewind is, the version history means every time that you save that file, as long as that computer is connected to the internet and your utility is running in the background like it should be all the time, as long as that's happening, then every time you save a change in a file, it makes a copy online of that particular time of when and the exact status of that file then. And so even though your local computer only keeps the most recent saved version, all the versions that you ever saved are saved online. And so in the case of Sync.com, it keeps all those version histories for 365 days, and in Dropbox, it keeps those for 180 days. And so that is super cool. Now imagine also, this account rewind is basically the same thing, but it's for your whole account, not just for individual files. And so let's imagine that somebody really tried to screw you over, or you really had some major problem with, a child getting into a computer and causing problems, and they deleted lots of your data. Or maybe even some malicious person was going to hijack your data or hold it hostage for ransom, and they copy it all and they delete your copy, and then they try to get a ransom for getting your data back. And this happens sometimes in major companies, and people pay millions of dollars sometimes to get their data back that's been stolen. Well, if you have a service like this, then you're basically immune to that, because you can just go back to a day before that happened and just restore all your files to how they were previous to that time. And so that is a really powerful and really cool insurance policy that you get from both of these. The benefit of having this longer period of time for Sync.com is, of course, if you didn't notice it for a long time that it had happened, and then you finally do, then you've got a longer grace period where you can figure that out and remedy it. It's also got, both of them also have this, you can share files in the same way that you can create a link in Google Photos and share a link to all those pictures and video in Google Photos. You can do that with any of your files with either Sync.com or Dropbox, and you can share the link so that people could download, large files, or, have lots of files in a folder that you could share all at once without having to upload them again. They are already uploaded to the internet, and all you got to do is share the link to where somebody can get to it. And you can do powerful things like limit it so that people can't download the file, they can only look at it online. Or you can password protect it so that they can only look at it, or they can only download it, or whatever it is, if they have the password. And so if anybody else happened to get the link, then they would also have to have the password to be able to do it. If you, let's say that you have 2 people or a whole team of people that are each have the same sort of account through sync.com or Dropbox or whichever one, you can collaborate and share folders between different users. And so I can have a folder, like, for example, in our business, we have a number of folders for our construction company, and the different jobs that we would price, my dad and I would download files for all the construction drawings and things for particular jobs, and then we would be able to do our pricing and things like that, and we could each work on each other's files, and I can create new files, he can create new files, he can take my file and resave it under his own name, and so that we can compare what we're doing, but it's all happening within these folders that are shared. And so this becomes an even more important time to have this version history, because sometimes somebody will accidentally save a change, and it'll be something that the other person didn't like, and they want to get back to their old version. And so sometimes you'll need to go back and retrieve this previous version of a file. And so that's something you can do with both of these, and that's powerful too. They also have mobile apps that go along with these services, and so you can see in here that the same folders are there, and it includes this camera upload. So the sync.com, and Dropbox has this feature too, where it can automatically upload all the cameras pictures, whether you're taking pictures or video, and it'll upload it included in here. So you'll have it in 2 locations, or 3, I guess, or more, depending on how many computers you've got. So every hard drive that you have that folder on, and whichever computers have this installed, you'd have a copy there. You'd have a copy on Sync servers, and you'd have a copy on the Google servers. And so people would have to, a lot of crazy things would have to happen for you to lose all that. So having those kinds of redundancies is really great. Let's see, and you can search for your files within that and do some other things that are useful. So let's just take an example here and see. I can create and share a link from the mobile app. I can create and share a folder with a collaborator that also has an account. I can download entire folders to the computer, to the phone, so that if I have a place I know I'm going to be going that has bad cell phone service, then I can have a copy on the phone that is physically on the phone, that it doesn't have to download later. So normally, your phone is going to have very limited storage compared to a computer, and so by default it does not download any data onto the phone except for the file list. And so as you need a file, you just go look through the folder, your folder and file list for the file that you actually need, and once you find it, then you can click on it. It will download it right then and allow you to open it and use it on the phone. Now, making changes to files and phones and uploading files to Sync and Dropbox is a little bit more complicated than just viewing a file, but most of the time you're not going to need to do that kind of thing anyway, probably. And if you are, then you're going to be a savvy user and you'll figure out how to do that. All right, let me talk about this selective sync and Vault Smart Sync. Okay, so if you have, let's say you have a laptop and a desktop, and that your desktop has a big hard drive and your laptop has a smaller one, and you've got more data in your big hard drive than can fit in your smaller hard drive on your mobile device. or your laptop or whatever it is. And so you can manually choose which folders within your synced folder. So everything in this folder is synced to my sync account, but only a portion of these are going to my laptop, because a lot of these I don't need all the time, and I only have those ones that I'm likely to need in the laptop synchronized there. So you can go into your little icon down here, and there's a menu where you can select which folders that you want to be included on that particular computer. So if your laptop has limited storage compared to what files you've got, then you can just choose which one's the most important for you to have on that machine all the time, and it doesn't download any folders or anything except for what's in the folders that you select. So that's a really useful feature. It also has this ability called Vault in Sync.com or SmartSync and Dropbox, and it basically does that for all your machines. So let's say that your primary machine's hard drive is getting full, and you want to make more space available, but you don't want to delete your old data. Well, what you can do is you can take the data that you use the least often, and you can move that into the cloud only and delete the local copy. And this was something that you would do from the web interface rather than from on your Windows Explorer interface. And so basically it just keeps an online copy and deletes the local copy. Both services have that ability. Secure encryption, both services are good with this, but Sync has, I think, a additional level of security versus Dropbox, in that depending on how you have it set up with them, you can, by default, they don't have access to your account in any sense, because, or access to your files in any sense, because the files are encrypted on your computer by the utility before they're sent to the sync servers, and it's encrypted using whatever password that you set up on your local computer, and that password doesn't go to them. It's more like the files are decrypted on the way down to you, or when they get there by your utility by the password. And you can change the password on your within the same little icon. Will allow you to change the password for your account there. If you want to be able to have it where you can reset your password in case you forget it, you can do that, and it gives them the ability to reset the password. But by default, that's not enabled. You had to check that box when you're signing up for your account, which is just you just check the box, and then whenever you're if you ever forget your password, then you can reset it, which I would recommend doing that, because I don't think it compromises security very much to do that. And Dropbox, they definitely have password recovery by default, but they're both related to that. This immunity to warrants. Dropbox, because of the way that their system works, let's say that you are part of, I don't know, some criminal investigation, and there was a warrant to go through your data. Well, Dropbox is a U.S. company, and so the government can give them a warrant and say, give us the data, and then they can gain access to your account somehow, and then they can give the data to the government. Sync.com cannot do that. For one thing, they don't have access to it in the same way that Dropbox does, and two, they're in Canada, so there will be some international hurdles that the government would have to go through to be able to get a copy of your data. So that's a big plus for Sync versus Dropbox, especially if you're a criminal. But that's some people are concerned about their data and security and that kind of thing, and so that's a important issue for some people. They're both HIPAA compliant, and I don't even know what these letters mean, but Sync.com is compliant with that, whereas Dropbox does not address that. Then you've got, for me, the reason that I found out about Sync.com in the first place is because of its compatibility with XP. So as far as I know, Sync.com is the only major file synchronization and cloud backup service that still has XP compatibility. So if you have an old laptop like I do that runs XP and you want to be able to keep your files on there too, then Sync.com is definitely the choice that you're going to want to make. Dropbox does not support that. They quit supporting it years ago. And so since Sync is cheaper, and both of these have a, if you have more than one person using it, the prices that you get are a little bit better for the amount of data that you get. And you can, examine the pricing structure here. I try to make it clear. But one thing you should notice is that between Sync, that you have to only have 2 people for the team pricing, whereas in Dropbox you have to have 3 at the minimum to get the team pricing. And the one option that Dropbox has that maybe could make it worthwhile for a certain small fraction of people is this unlimited data storage. But again, you would have to pay at minimum $720 a year to have this unlimited storage between these 3 different accounts. And the number of people who have more than 10 terabytes of data, I would venture to say it's a small fraction of people that would be valuable to. 10 terabytes is a lot for almost any kind of use. So I will mention pCloud. They have a little bit bigger free storage than these others, Sync and Dropbox, but they don't have an obvious way to get that I found. I didn't download the app or use it, but on their website they don't have a way to get that I see. But I think you may be able to get it if you just download the app and create your account that way on like a mobile device. Something I read made it sound like that. The unique thing about pCloud is their lifetime membership. So if you are sure that you'll never need more than 500 gigs or 2 terabytes of data, then you can pay for the lifetime subscription, which is good for up to 99 years, and that will be cheaper than your other option, provided you live a long time, or at least a few years, depending on what level that you get. And so that might be an option for some people if you're confident you'll never need more than 2 terabytes of storage. On Google Drive, I would just suggest that you pay special attention to the fact that while they do offer more free storage than the others, that that data cap is shared with your Gmail account. So it's, if you have files that you're backing up, and that's going to limit the capacity of your storage in your actual email account. And so if you use the same account for your email and for your file backup, then it's very possible that your ability to receive email is going to be compromised in the future, and you may have to start paying, to have a larger storage just to keep your email working, or else have to create an account somewhere else or remove a bunch of the files that you have trying to be backed up. So you need to be aware of that. And their more expensive plans are beyond the 2 terabyte level are kind of ridiculous money, so compared to the other choices. So I don't think that they make good sense. And they have a short, I should have had this down here, on the version history. They only have a 30-day version history. So unless you're really on top of things, if you have a problem with your data and you don't notice it right away, then it's going to be too late to get it back with Google Drive. So anyway, that's mostly what I had to say about that. I will have a link maybe on top of the video that you can click, and if you purchase one of these services through those links, then I'll get a commission for that. And hopefully this was helpful to you. God bless you.